IST and 1:30 GMT only on DD India.
Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Plane crash in Brazil's Sao Paulo state kills all on board. 3 days of mourning declared in the nation. U.S. stresses for Gaza ceasefire, says escalation of tensions is in no one's interest. White House says U.S. will not allow extremists, including in Israel, to push Gaza ceasefire talks off the course. U.S. to send missiles, ammunition to Ukraine in new $125 million package, while Russia imposed anti-terrorism measures in 3 regions bordering Ukraine. India's External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar meets Maldivian counterpart to forge closer bilateral ties. Says partnership based on desire to work together for each other's interests. More pride to Indians in Paris Olympics. Wrestler Aman wins bronze, India's 6th medal in tally. Prime Minister Modi hails his dedication and perseverance. A plane has crashed in the Brazilian state of Sao Paulo, killing all the 61 people on board. The twin-engine turboprop was flying from Cascavel in the southern state of Paraná to Guarulhos Airport in Sao Paulo City when it came down in the town of Venado. Footage circulating on social media shows a plane descending vertically, spiraling as it falls. The ATR 72-500 was carrying 57 passengers and 4 crew members. Investigation is underway after 2 anonymous black box flight recorders were found and sent to Brasilia for data analysis. Relatives of passengers of the Brazilian flight that crashed waited at the airport in the city of Cascavel from where the aircraft had departed to get information on their loved ones. A regional carrier, Vopas, gave people a printed notice with little information about what happened and provided a phone number to support family members and passengers, but many complained that the phone line was not operating. Russia declared the situation in its border Kursk region a federal emergency. The defense officials say that they will continue fighting with the Ukrainian military and halted their advance. At the same time, more reinforcements have been sent to the area. Russia also declared a state of emergency in another region, Lipetsk, after 9 people got injured in a massive Ukrainian attack. DD India's Dasha Chernishova is in Moscow with more.
Russia has sent reinforcements to its Kursk border region to fight against the Ukrainian incursion. The videos released by the Defense Ministry show columns of Grad, MLRs, tanks, artillery on the move to the fighting area. The Defense Ministry says it did not allow the Ukrainian military to advance deeper into the Russian territory. They continue to strike the Ukrainian manpower and military equipment. The Emergency Situations Ministry has declared the situation in Kursk a federal emergency. Russian President Vladimir Putin convened a meeting of his Security Council on Friday to discuss the fight against terrorism. This is how Moscow views the Ukrainian actions. The attack on Kursk, which is adjacent to Ukraine's region, forced thousands of people to relocate. Local authorities say those affected will receive additional financial assistance, and the Emergencies Ministry sent additional forces to the region to facilitate evacuations. Russian authorities say they have repelled over 75 Ukrainian drones overnight, including in Lipetsk region, where the local authorities have been forced to introduce this emergency situation as well. 9 people have been wounded as a result of this massive drone attack. Dasha Chernishova, reporting in Moscow for DD India.
As Iran's attack on Israel loom large after killing of Hamas's leader U.S. has intensified efforts for peace in West Asia. U.S. Secretary of State Blinken reiterated on Friday that there was an urgent need to reach a ceasefire in Gaza to save the hostages and ensure their return from captivity of Hamas. Blinken told Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant through a phone that the escalation of tensions was in no party's interest. During the call, Blinken also assured that the United States will not impose sanctions on Israeli military's Netza Yehuda battalion and has decided to end an investigation into potential rights violations by the unit in the occupied West Bank. A day earlier, the Israeli Defense Minister spoke to U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin about the situation in the region. The White House has condemned Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich of arguing against a ceasefire and hostage release deal brokered with the Biden administration. White House National Security spokesperson John said that the finance minister was misleading the Israeli public. The Biden administration will not allow extremists, including in Israel, to push Gaza ceasefire talks off the course. United States and its allies have been trying to arrange a ceasefire for hostages deal for months now, but have consistently run into obstacles from both Israel and Hamas. The Lebanese government has warned of a humanitarian disaster if Israel and Hezbollah go to conflict. The warning comes as tensions are high on border as Lebanon-based Hezbollah group vows retaliation for an Israeli airstrike which killed one of the group's senior commanders. From Beirut, Trent Murray gets us more.
Well, the senior minister in charge of contingency planning here in Lebanon has warned the country may need $100 million a month worth of aid if a major war is to break out with Israel. Now, we know many people here are concerned about that possibility. There's been some reports of stockpiling, people stocking up on items like rice, flour, as well as diapers for babies. Now, the government is saying that there's no need to do that. The country has got at least 5 months' supplies in order to keep the shelves full in supermarkets. But people are clearly concerned here. Many of them remember the last war back in 2006. At that time, Beirut International Airport was bombed and there was also a sea blockade implemented by Israel. So seemingly not wanting to take that chance again, you are seeing reports from across the country, some supermarkets being busier than normal. Now, on the foreign nationals front, well, as you might imagine, governments continue to tell their citizens to leave Lebanon while there are still commercial flights available. It remains difficult, though, given that there are few seats. The ticket prices are very expensive. And more broadly, tensions just continue to remain red hot. We saw Hezbollah fire more rockets overnight into northern Israel, and we also saw some targeted airstrikes by the Israeli Defense Force targeting a car quite far from the border of Israel. It's not so common that they fire that far north. Some reports suggest 2 people in the car were members of Hamas, but we still need to wait for confirmation from the group. But it just continues to really be an anxious wait right now for people here to see how Hezbollah will respond. This is a militant group which is thought to have 150,000 missiles and rockets in its arsenal, and for that reason, people right across West Asia are concerned that any sort of response from them could spiral into a major regional war. Trent Murray for DD India, Beirut. Well, the senior minister in charge of contingency planning here in Lebanon has warned the country may need $100 million.
India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, along with Reserve Bank of India Governor Shaktikanta, attended the Central Board of Directors meeting of the RBI following the presentation of the Union Budget 2024-25. Now, this meeting is crucial as it serves as a platform for ensuring both the government in sustaining economic growth and maintaining financial stability in India. The press conference is presently underway and RBI Governor Shaktikanta is addressing the media.
Access the data in respect of Udgam portal. Earlier, the customers had to run from bank to bank. Let us say a person there's an unfortunate death of a member in the family, if the other member, the children, want to know where their parents had bank accounts, today it's much easier. Earlier they had to run from bank to bank to find out where all unclaimed deposits were there. But now they can access that information through the portal. So it continues to be a priority. This year also we are going to have a special drive of proactively banks identifying the the current location of the unclaimed depositors and return the money.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Mr. Lakshman Roy from CNBC Awas.
सर मैं लक्ष्मण सिंह दूतेवाल हूँ। मेरा सवाल ये है कि आरबीआई गवर्नर ने कई बार कहा भी है कि बैंकों में जो डिपॉजिट ग्रोथ है वो काफ़ी कम हो रहा है, वो कॉज ऑफ कंसर्न है और स्पेकुलेटिव बिजनेस भी कई बार बजट में हमने इस पर टैक्स लगाया है कुछ इंस्ट्रूमेंट, तो क्या बजट के अनाउंसमेंट के बाद अब वो कंसर्न कितना खत्म हुआ है आरबीआई बैंकों में गिरते डिपॉजिट ग्रोथ को लेकर के, और क्या अभी भी किसी तरह के पॉलिसी इंटरवेंशन की जरूरत हो रही है?
Who are you asking this question?
आप दोनों से
दोनों से मैं तो मानती हूँ रिजर्व बैंक भी और सरकार भी बार बार बैंकों को कह रहे हैं कि आप आपके कोर बिजनेस एक्टिविटी के ऊपर जरा ज़्यादा ध्यान दें। ये कि वो ध्यान नहीं दे रहे हैं, मगर और थोड़ा सख्ती से डिपॉजिट कलेक्ट करें, फिर लेंड भी करें, क्योंकि बैंकिंग का कोर एक्टिविटी यही है। बाद में कोई कुछ 4-5 विषय नया पोर्टफोलियो ये सब जोड़ सकते हैं, मगर आपके कोर बिजनेस डिपॉजिट कलेक्शन एंड लेंडिंग मनी, उसमें अगर एक दोनों पहिए में एक पहिए ठीक से नहीं चल रही है तो आप ध्यान देना चाहिए। इसमें डिपॉजिट कलेक्शन के पहिया थोड़ा धीरे जा रही है, लेंडिंग फास्ट जा रही है। गाड़ी ऐसे थोड़ी ना चलता है, यू नीड बोथ ऑफ देम टू गो टुगेदर। So my emphasis with the banks has always been, and I thought in the last 2 days when after the MPC Governor Reserve Bank addressed the media, he's placed rightly the emphasis on that. So my emphasis also would be the same with the banks, and I in fact will be meeting with the banks for various reasons to take up government's priority sector lending area, emphasis on some of the government schemes, and also in that process talking to them about how it is important for them to go back to collecting deposit, the old-fashioned, get back to collect deposit from everybody, which means banks, RBI has given them some liberty in managing the interest rates. Using that liberty, they should make deposit attractive in the banks, because आपको बजट के स्पीच द्वारा, रिप्लाई द्वारा, फिर चर्चा के द्वारा ये तो बार बार बोला गया कि आज का स्मॉल सेविंग्स में जो है परिवार, उसको भी लग रहा है कि नया बहुत सारे रास्ता मिल गए, चाहे वो स्टॉक मार्केट के द्वारा क्यों ना हो, वो पैसा का ज़्यादा रिटर्न के लिए उनको अवेलेबल पोर्टफोलियो ज़्यादा है, इसीलिए रिटेल इन्वेस्टमेंट इन मार्केट्स हैव गॉन अप। इतने सारे उनके सामने जब है, बैंक्स भी नए तरीके से इनोवेट जो गवर्नमेंट के लैंग्वेज उपयोग करना है, इनोवेटिव पोर्टफोलियो ले आओ और अट्रैक्ट करो, डिपॉजिट मोबिलाइज करो।
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Aman from CNBC.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, sir. Two questions, ma'am, and to sir. The deposit question, of course, has been asked. Good afternoon, sir. Two questions, ma'am, and to sir. So the deposit question, of course, has been asked. There has been a lot of discussion and debate on the gold bond scheme. So there are queries as to whether the government and RBI will come out with future tranches or not. It's a expensive borrowing instrument for the government. What is the thinking as of now, both with the central government and the Reserve Bank of India? And second, ma'am, yesterday there was when you brought out the banking amendment bill, basically somebody had written a very factual story, but it circulated very widely, so we would just like some clarification if possible, that there is a thinking going on to raise foreign ownership in banks, particularly PSBs, to 41%. So both can the centre and the RBI say something? Thank you very much.
I'm glad you said that it is a story which was going around and it was viral and no, what did you say, content in it or base in it or fact in it, something you said. That's the story and that's the answer. There's nothing before me on any of that. These wild speculations, particularly related to banks or finances, are completely discourage-worthy. I have a strong request to the media that any such story, unless you verify it with the competent authority, let us say for the finance ministry related matters with the finance ministry or RBI related matters with RBI, if you do not verify it, I strongly request that the media should not further it by printing it or having discussions on it without corroborative, inputs from the concerned. I'm not stopping you all from doing what you want. Absolutely free. But I'm also equally thankful to Sapna to say it was floating around freely, but it had nothing in it. Meaning no riveting fact or basis. And if it is with no riveting fact or basis, please do cross-check like you're doing now. Before it is furthered, because finance today, financial sector today, is inundated with a lot of freewheeling advice in the social media. I'm not here to curb anybody, but this is a very sensitive area. We don't want free advices taken seriously by people without knowing whether they were authorized or not. We need to be careful. We want people to be well informed. We want more and more people advising them, all right. But let it be responsibly done.
Thank you, ma'am.
Finance Minister Aman and RBI Governor Shaktikanta addressing a press conference in the national capital. Up next, we're heading to a short break. Stay with us.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and deep issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me these times on DD India.
Welcome back. After the break, you're watching DD India Live. US presidential Donald Trump and Kamala Harris rallied voters on Friday, a day after confirmation that they will meet in a televised debate next month. Trump headed to Montana, while Harris and her vice presidential pick Tim Walz visited Arizona. The Trump and Harris campaigns have confirmed the pair will meet on 10th September in their first live debate. DD India's Nick Harper gets us this report from Washington, D.C.
Both Donald Trump and Kamala Harris were out on the campaign trail on Friday. Trump has remained off the trail this week, but he did hold a press conference on Thursday at his Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida. On Friday, he chose to head to the state of Montana, not a battleground state, it's a firmly red Republican state that he won in 2020 by 16% ahead of Joe Biden. He was there, though, to try and oust the current incumbent Democratic Senator Jon Tester. Kamala Harris did get out in front of swing state voters as she tries to sell her vision and message of America to independent, undecided voters. She was in the city of Phoenix in the swing state of Arizona, a state that shares its border with Mexico, so immigration was very much in focus. She'll be continuing her swing states tour on Saturday, heading to Las Vegas, state of Nevada. Some polling out over the last 24 hours has suggested that the momentum we've seen in the Democratic Party since it was announced that she was taking over from Joe Biden has been reflected in national polls. A Reuters Ipsos poll showing that she's about 5 percentage points ahead of Donald Trump, 42% to Trump's 37%. And if you narrow that down just to look at swing states, she's a couple of percentage points ahead, 42% for Harris, 40% for Donald Trump. And of course, all of this coming ahead of the two meeting on a debate stage to go toe-to-toe. September the 10th is the date for your diary. It confirmed both campaigns that they will meet in an unscripted, live televised debate. Donald Trump has also said that he would welcome at least 2 opportunities to debate Kamala Harris. He has said in the past that she's not intelligent enough to debate him. She's saying that if he turns up for the first one, she'll consider whether or not to debate him at a second and third time as well. In Washington, Nick Harper, reporting for DD News.
UK police say that they're prepared for any further outbreak of disorder this week. Britain has been hit by a series of riots after the killing of 3 young girls in July 29 knife attack in Southport, northwest England, triggering a false online post that wrongly identified the suspected killer as an Islamist migrant. DD India's Ollie Barrett gets us more from London.
There are as many as 6,000 police officers on duty to potentially deal with rioting or disorder if they are needed over the course of the weekend. The police say that they are remaining very much on high alert, as the Prime Minister Keir Starmer has requested. One of the reasons that Saturday and Sunday are being looked at as potential days for further outbreaks of unrest is partly because it's the weekend and fewer people are at work, at their jobs, but also because the football season is beginning, and police do feel that that has the potential for some of those meetings between football teams to spill over into some violence as well. All of that said, police say they feel they have the resources in place to deal with any outbreaks of violence or disorder that they see, and also Keir Starmer and the government believe that some of the custodial sentences we've been seeing over the last few days will be a significant deterrent to any further rioting, and so they hope that actually we are past the peak of the disorder in the UK now. So still a hope rather than something that they can necessarily guarantee, and Keir Starmer has been warning against complacency in thinking that this is necessarily over. When it comes to the judicial process, nearly 600 people had been arrested by the end of Friday afternoon local time, and police say that those arrests will continue. Indeed, police have been saying those arrests could continue for months to come, and again the government will hope that that will continue to act as a deterrent against any future disorder. But police very much for Saturday and Sunday on alert.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit landslide-hit Wayanad on Saturday to review the relief and rehabilitation efforts. During the visit, the Prime Minister will also meet and interact with victims and survivors of the landslide at a relief camp and hospital. The massive landslides that occurred on July 30th in the Hill District have killed 226 people. On the last leg of her 3-nation visit, President of India Draupadi Murmu is in Delhi, the capital of Timor-Leste. During her visit, President was conferred the Grand Collar of the Order of Timor-Leste, the country's highest civilian order, by her counterpart, Jose Ramos Horthy, for her achievements in public service and dedication to education, social welfare and empowerment of women. India's President Draupadi Murmu and her counterpart from Timor-Leste issued a joint press statement praising Timor-Leste. President Murmu called the Southeast Asian nation a good friend of India.
India and Timor-Leste enjoy warm and friendly relations based on our shared commitment to the values of democracy and pluralism. I am confident that this will further strengthen bilateral relations between the two countries. I am deeply honored by the Grand Collar of Order of Timor-Leste bestowed upon me. This is a reflection of the deep of friendship between India and Timor-Leste.
President of Timor-Leste, Jose Ramos Horta, said that Timor-Leste will soon open an embassy in Delhi and an Indian embassy will be opened in Delhi.
With the opening of Timor-Leste embassy in Delhi soon, the opening of an embassy of India in Delhi soon, we will expand, enhance the relationship from A to Z in areas like agriculture, education, health, medical field, digitalization, particularly of our payment system with our central bank, our civil service.
Earlier on Saturday, the President was given a Static Guard of Honor at the airport and was warmly received by President of TimorLeste, Jose Ramos Horta, and other ministers. President of India, Draupadi Murmu, also received a Guard of Honor during a ceremonial welcome at a presidential palace in the capital of Timor-Leste. That's it in this edition of DD India Live, but your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screens to download. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing from all of us in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.